Greetings friends, this is the second part of an introduction and backdrop to the Bhagwad Gita, which is set within the epic MAHABHARATA. In part 1, I set out a broad introduction and now would like to go a little deeper. In the first of these videos, we ended with the family tree of the main characters of the Mahabharata. The genealogy is full of multiple partners, both matrimonial and otherwise, and the resulting progeny, angry sages or holy men, punishing and forgiving. The entire drama is filled with mythology, reincarnation, curses inflicted, boons granted, everything that is required for a great spectacle. But it is not just a soap opera of epic proportions. Deep meanings lie beneath the surface. First, let us look at the venue of the epic, Kshetra, the site of the battle. The word is derived from the Sanskrit root kiri, which means work or material action, and Kshetra, which means field. Thus, Kurukshetra is the site of the battle and represents the field of action, the arena where all human activity takes place. In chapter 13 of the Gita, what is Kshetra is detailed. In the second verse, Krishna defines Kshetra, the field of activities, to be our body, through which our daily lives are enacted. There are two aspects to us all, matter and spirit. Spirit is that which gives us life, gives sentience to the insentient, gives us the capacity to feel, perceive and experience, like petrol to a car or electricity to a light bulb. Without the petrol, a car is a chunk of metal, no matter how luxurious, and a bulb cannot function without electricity. So the matter aspect of the individual can only be alive if infused by spirit. This matter aspect consists of three elements. All our activities occur on three planes: the body, the mind, and the intellect. At the level of the body, where all physical activity is undertaken, we have five organs of perception, the Jnana Indriya, the sense organs. Through these, the outside world enters us. We also have five organs of action, or the Karma Indriya. Through these, we respond to the world. The second element is the mind, where all our interaction with the world is recorded and emotional activity takes place. This is where our likes and dislikes establish and influence our behavior. Thirdly, there is the intellect, where the activity of discrimination occurs, the instrument to decide what action we should or should not undertake. Kurukshetra is this matter body of ours, where the struggle amongst the senses, the mind and the intellect takes place. Kshetra is a topic which has much more depth. Bhagwad Gita, chapter 13, verse 6, details 24 aspects of the field. The field of activity is composed of five great elements: the ego, the intellect, the unmanifest primordial matter, 11 senses made up of 5 knowledge senses, 5 working senses and the mind, and also 5 objects of the senses. Also, Patanjali Yoga Sutra, chapter 2, Sutra 18, talks about nature and its three qualities, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. In the Bible, Revelations 4 describes that about the throne were 24 seats, and upon the seats I saw 24 elders sitting, clothed in white raiment, and they had on their heads crowns of gold. The 24 are the 24 cosmic principles of creation that are expounded in the original philosophy of India, the Sankhya philosophy, on which yoga is based. The symbolic similarity is profoundly interesting. How these 24 elements emanate from primordial nature or Prakriti and how they interact requires detailed study. This, however, would sidetrack us from our epic. Suffice it to say that Kshetra needs to be studied further. Back to our epic poem. Kurukshetra is also referred to as Dharmakshetra, the field of Dharma. The meaning of Dharma has no direct translation to modern languages. It is broad and deep in itself and is a key concept in Hinduism and Buddhism. The Sanskrit root of Dharma is Dri, which means to support, hold or bear, and extends to include the universal laws of nature which are applicable to everyone and everything. For example, the dharma of fire is to burn. The dharma of ice is to be cold. It is the essential essence which is universal and eternal, the true nature of the substance. Dharma is the power that maintains society and makes us moral people. It gives humans the opportunity to act virtuously. Its meaning includes the religious law, moral rights and duties for each individual, thus determining behavior that enables social order and right conduct. Everything and everyone has their own unique dharma, known as Swadharma. The Swadharma of sugar is sweetness. The Bhagwad Gita advocates that one must function according to their own Swadharma, one's own quality or character. In the last chapter of the Gita, verse 1847, Krishna stresses on the importance of performing one's own dharma even though it may be imperfect. Thus, one does not incur sin. The divine song of God came about because Arjuna was shying away from his dharma. As a warrior or Kshatriya, his swadharma, his own dharma, was to fight. Functioning contrary to one's dharma is called adharma, or the opposite of dharma. Arjuna was doing just this. In Gita chapter 2, he dropped his bow and declared to Krishna that I shall not fight. This prompted Lord Krishna's inspirational discourse addressed to Arjuna but meant for all of mankind. As stated in part 1, the Mahabharata occurred at a time when there was a rise in sinfulness and a decline in dharma. This war was to re-establish righteousness. It was a moral conflict. Dharmakshetra represents the struggle within each one of us on our field of activity to reinstate virtue and godliness, evidently lacking in today's world. The first word of the Gita is Dharma. Bhagwad Gita chapter 1 verse 1, Dharmakshetra Kurukshetra. The last word of Lord Krishna's advice to Arjuna in Gita chapter 18 verse 71 is Karma, or action. The sublime discourse is sandwiched between these two key words, righteousness and action, and therein is the essence of the treatise, righteous action. Thus we have the field of righteous activity, Kurukshetra, Dharmakshetra. So, the stage is set. The actors are awaiting in the wings. Enter center stage, King Bharat. King Bharat was the legendary emperor of India and renowned as a great warrior and sovereign. Mythological stories recount how he played with lions as an infant, an earlier version of Mowgli of the Jungle Book no less. The full story of Bharat and his parents is somewhat outside what I want to address here. However, in terms of our story, Bharat conquered and ruled the entire subcontinent of India. The Vishnu Purana, one of the oldest Hindu texts, describes this land as Bharatvansh, the land of Bharat, lying between the ocean in the south and the snowy mountains in the north. His name is a synonym for India even today. Symbolically, Bharat depicts one who shuns darkness or ignorance and is devoted to the light of the knowledge of the Absolute. This is a key theme of the Bhagwad Gita, the realization of the ultimate truth. A few generations after Bharat, we come to King Kuru. With another jump, King Shantanu comes on stage, and from here our story begins in earnest. Kaurav means the descendants of King Kuru, a legendary king who is the ancestor of Mahabharata's main characters. In its widest terms, the Kuru dynasty is used to embody all the descendants of Kuru. In this, the Pandav brothers are included. However, the narrower and more common meaning is used to denote the elder bloodline. This restricts the title to the children of King Dhritarashtra and excludes the children of his younger brother Pandu, whose descendants are the Pandavas. So we have two opposing groups of ostensibly one family who were about to fight for the throne of Hastinapur. The Kuru kingdom was located northeast of present-day Delhi, with its capital Hastinapur, a city in today's Meerut district in the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh. Hastinapur translates to the city of elephants. It is noted also as the capital of Emperor Bharat's kingdom and dates back to more than 500 BCE. The wider picture gives us a more complete idea of how the main characters are interconnected. Outside the main Kuru clan, we see the lineage of Vyas, yes, Ved Vyas, who is credited with the authorship of the Mahabharata. He descends from the great sage Vashistha, who is the oldest and most revered Vedic rishis, one of the original 7 or Saptarishi. Vyas's intervention brings forth Dhritarashtra and Pandu, enabling the Kuru clan to sort of continue. He is also the father of Vidur, a wise minister in Hastinapur court who advocated for righteousness. The last part of the cast of characters is the Yadav clan, stemming from King Yadu. This leads to the emergence of Lord Krishna, the central character of the Gita, delivering the most sublime knowledge to all humanity through Arjuna. The story of Krishna is another epic, and although integral to the Mahabharata, requires an entire series of videos. It goes on the to-do list. Krishna and Arjuna, and of course his brothers, are cousins. Krishna's maternal aunt Kunti being the mother of 3 of the Pandavas. Krishna was an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. He has influenced and is central to Indian society, culture and psyche. Krishna means dark. Krishna stands for the inner self or the Atman. This is dark in the sense that it is not known to mankind. Unknown while man's attention is directed to the outer material world. Krishna stands for the spirit, which infuses into inert matter, and thus the inanimate is given the attributes of life. This is a good spot to pause. We will look at the other characters next time. Please do like and share my posts and subscribe to my channel. Also, your comments and feedback would be of great help. Thank you.